So without further ado, we'll get this thing started. And why not start with the man, the myth, the legend, my dog, the one and only, Mr. Bud Dupree. What you got for me, D? Is he staying or is he going?
I don't think he's staying. I don't, unfortunately. We've talked about this. He should probably be the number one priority of all the Steelers that are in free agency right now. Now, if you want to talk about position, we talked about potentially Alvin Nueva, even though he's nowhere close to where Bud Dupree is at career-wise and just their ability. I just don't like the signs, dude.
Yeah.
There haven't been any restructurings. I don't know if we're going to be making a big deal at all. Although there has been some talks about us negotiating with Alvin Nueva. I don't know how much we're going to re-sign him for. I don't know if he's going to come back for a discount or not. It just doesn't seem like there's any rumors or anything pointing to Bud Dupree coming back right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I've told you this numerous times when we spoke about his situation up here. If I'm giving him advice, I'm telling him, go get the money that you've earned. Go get the money that you deserve. You've already did the whole, bet on yourself. You did it twice. It worked out. Obviously, you almost crapped out at the end, though. So let's not take these chances anymore. Go get the money. If it works out where you're able to come back down the line, cool, come back. I mean, you're only 28 years old. We know edge rushers can play in this league for a long time. So that's what I'm telling him. And I personally don't think that he will be back because he's earned that money. He's earned the money. And he's going to get that out there, man. And he knows that the Steelers can't pay him to that standpoint. So it's one of them things, kind of like what we said a year ago with Javon Hargrave. Man, we hate to see you go, but we love the fact that you're going to be able to get paid the way that you're supposed to get paid. So that's kind of how I look at Bud Dupree, man.
Sure. And we talked about probably one of the only ways that he would come back is on some type of 1-year deal for like 10 or 12 million. But that doesn't even look feasible right now because nothing has happened. I was texting you yesterday. I'm like, Colbert's asleep at the wheel. What the hell's going on?
Dude, like it's been rumblings, little things of, could this guy get re-signed? Is this guy about to get released? And you hear those things and it's like, all right, but I haven't seen it happen yet. So I'm like, I don't know how you're going to make X, Y, and Z work if we don't take care of X first. So we'll see, man. But they still have time. And I've told you from my personal experiences, we didn't get my deal done with the Steelers in terms of me re-signing until the day before I was about to catch my flight. Like, it wasn't, okay, Wednesday starts the new league year where you can sign the deal. Let's talk on Monday. No. Monday, I had talked to teams. Tuesday, deal was done. Tuesday afternoon, it's like, come in before you fly out Wednesday morning. So you know that this is that time where something wacky could happen. Something crazy could go down in these next 24 to 48 hours as it pertains to Steelers personnel moves in-house. Because the way the Steelers do typically operate is with some of their bigger free agent names, right? They look at it as once those guys hit the market, they look at them as they're gone. They don't look at them as, he's going to test it out and come back. Yeah, from my personal experience, that's how it was for me and for a couple of other guys that went through those same situations during that time frame. Because they just feel like once it becomes a open bid like that.
This is on Wednesday.
Yeah. Once Wednesday hits, they just feel like teams are going to be able to throw way more money, and they don't want to personally be a pawn in terms of trying to go back and forth competing to run up your number, knowing that they're not going to be able to get you in the end. So typically they won't go back and forth. Once a player hits Wednesday and they haven't re-signed them, that player is more than likely going to be gone. That's how they've typically operated from my personal experiences with them in these exact situations. So we'll see how it plays out, but I really don't see Bud coming back, man. It's not looking like it right now, man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I thought maybe if some stuff would have taken place with the Steelers in terms of releases and restructurings where all of a sudden we have between like $20 or $30 million in cap space, but that hasn't happened yet. Can you agree to a deal in principle then before the Steelers make any of those moves?
Now, what do you mean by that?
Like say, you know how you can make these agreements right now, but you make the official signings on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Can say like Bud Dupree or Juju agree to a deal that would put us over the cap space or just the cap in general on Wednesday when they sign. But once they do the agreed upon deal, the Steelers have that time period where they could do restructurings and whatnot. So when they do sign, it's within the cap.
So typically the reason why that doesn't happen is that is very risky business. Number one, from a player standpoint, you're essentially agreeing with somebody that's telling you we don't have the money right now. We're going to pay you next week. I mean, just think about it. That's what, essentially like, imagine Deke, if I'm like, hey, Deke, I want you to come and agree to be on my team. I don't have the money to pay you right now, but hopefully if I can get this guy to agree upon the restructure, because remember with restructures, it's a two-way street. It's not just the team saying we're restructuring you. The player has to say, okay, I agree to the restructure. Let's do the deal. So if that's not happening, then the restructure can't take place. So to make the deal before you get the restructure taking place, or taken care of, it's kind of a gamble, because if you're not able to get the restructure situated, well, now you're looking at facing some potential fines for being over the cap once the new league year starts. And that's what you really don't want to have to deal with, right? So that's typically why you don't see it. But in theory, yes, it could happen, because all it is a gentleman's agreement. When you agree upon it in principle, you hash out the deals, you talk about the money and things like that. But until the contract is set in stone and the ink is on it, all it is just word of mouth. That's all it is. So you can talk to people and agree, but until that money until it's officially signed, it's nothing there. But that's why the teams, when they are talking, they know that, hey, this money is here, because we don't want any funny business. If I'm negotiating and I'm another team, right? And the Steelers are talking to Bud and they're saying, hey, Bud, we don't have it right now, but if you wait, we'll restructure this, hopefully get that done, and we'll get that money to you. All right. If I'm an opposing team that's coming in to talk to Bud, I'm saying, why play that game when I for a fact have this money right now? I don't have to hope that this guy's going to take a restructure. I don't have to hope that this guy's going to take a pay cut. I got your cash right here, baby. What's up? In fact, I'll give you an extra $1 on top of it for the hassle. What do you think he's going to do? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at that scenario. So yes, technically you could do that, but I don't know a lot of players that are going to be willing to take that risk. That's a little riskier than these contracts that don't have guarantee money in them. It's just like, I'm cool on that, man.
I'm just confused then what's going on with the Steelers right now.
That makes two of us.
Because we don't have the cap space to make any of these potential moves that we've talked about. We think we need a little bit.
Yeah, and we still have two moves that could potentially happen, right? We said the two bigger name guys that can save you a ton of cap space are David DeCastro and Vince Williams. If the team at any point today or tomorrow decide to restructure or release one of those guys, more importantly, if they release one of those guys, you're either going to save what we said, $10 million for Vince, and we think it was $14 million for DeCastro. You're saving a ton of money with either one of those guys being gone, and that could give you a lot more flexibility to either re-sign some of your in-house free agents or potentially go out there and upgrade your interior part of your offensive line, or potentially try to make a move on a tackle, right? So you have those things in your wheelhouse, but it can't happen if you don't release one of those type of guys. Joe Hayden already said he's not getting released, right? So we take him off the table. Steven Nelson, it still doesn't save you as much to release him right now. So you probably won't see that. So what are we waiting on? Like, what's going to happen here? That's the scenario we're in right now.